Taking good care of your health is a personal responsibility. To do a good job, it requires knowledge and practice. Join us for 8 weeks to wellness and become a healthier you. Each week, you will get new guidelines and wellness challenges. In the end, you will be on your way to living a healthful lifestyle and enjoying the benefits. So join us, Healthier Me.
Okay, there we go. All right, so this evening we're on week 5 and it's 8 weeks gearing up. And we just have 3 more weeks to go. Oh, we'll see. But we're going to be on still every Monday night live here on our Zoom. I'm Dr. Natalie Nash, and I'm talking to you from the Pure Wellness Lifestyle Center. Let's have a word of prayer to begin. Heavenly Father, we ask for your continued presence to be with us as we discuss this very important topic on healthy weight and how we would be able to maintain this so that our bodies can be utilized in such a way that would bring glory and honor to you. Be with us now in our discussion. This is our prayer in Jesus' name, amen. All right, so we are looking at, I just want to give you a little sneak peek into what our week was. Last week, you know, we have been doing a detox program here at the center during this month of October. And last week was the first of 2. We are continuing this week as well. And so we had some folks over and it was wonderful. As usual, it was wonderful. It was exciting. We had some birthdays in our midst. So 2 weeks in a row, we had birthdays and we had need to celebrate with individuals for the blessing of life that God has granted them. And no better place to celebrate your birthday. This is like the 3rd birthday we've had within a month. Yeah, 3rd birthday within a month. And so it's a great place to be, you know, so just practice wellness on your birthday and get all the healthy foods and not have to worry about all those you know, unhealthy, sugary, snacky stuff. But we try to celebrate. So we did some exciting things. So just going to show you a little sneak peek. Oh, by the way, let me just share a testimony. I was hoping I would have been able to get Sister Wiener. This is Sister Wiener in the photo here. And Sister Wiener came and I remember on the first day when we had in the morning, when we had our stretching exercises before we went out to walking, Sister Wiener complained about her knee, one of her knees just aching and paining. She didn't walk. And you know, she just worked and nursed that knee. However, that was just the first day. By the second day, she was getting into things and she spent a couple of days with us and was able to, in the beginning, in the first week, she was just walking in the yard to the front, back and forth, but she was determined. And that's the wonderful thing. When you have individuals who are very much determined to live a healthier and practice health and wellness. So what happened is that she was able to consistently every day do the walks, do her digestive walks, even though it was just to the gate and back. And she would do that. By the time the second week around, which is why I like people to stay a little longer, we were able to see improvements with Sister Wiener. And she was able to walk out the street and turn the corner and go the other way and come back and do that when it was Friday. And she spent about 14 days with us. And so by Friday, which would have been about the 13th day or so. I'll show you, if you pay close attention to the video, you would see where she's just like walking freely. And you could see power in her strides. And that was just like so miraculous. And we give God thanks for that. Today, she sent me pictures of her meal, and she's just gone home and continued to do that which and practice that which she's learned here at the center. So just pay close attention. You would see her showing up just now, right? Okay. There she is, moving briskly, don't you see? Namaste. That's the bird sanctuary we went to. Okay, that's just wonderful. I actually have another one. Let me see if I can grab it. Okay, let me reshare. Okay, so I have another video clip with Sister Weena, especially we were on the beach and I was just interviewing her briefly, but just wanted to show you where from day one she was not able to walk much and really taking her time, and those knees were paining. We got thanks that there was improvement. So let's see. Tina, how are you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Uh-huh. Enjoying the sunlight. Yeah. Walk. Very nice. Okay. And you're in Trinidad? Trinidad. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Maracaspi. Okay, good. Right. Yeah. Get to the end of the line. All right, you're making it. You're making it. All right. Okay. Wonderful. So there you go. And she will oh, what did I do? Okay, I'm still on. All right, yep. So yep, she has gone on and will continue to do well by God's grace. With you see, that's what we want to talk to you today about with diet and the lifestyle changes. They are super important in helping us to achieve better health. And the amazing thing is that within a short space of time, you can feel the difference, see the evidence of the improvement in your life. I mean, folks are here, it's just like 14 days that you can see improvement, 10 days, 11 days. When they're here for less, like 7, we see some improvement, but I know that there's going to be a little bit more in a few days' time. So once they hang on out, it's better. All right, so let's just continue. Let me share screen again. Okay. Cool. Let me find Let me just find my PowerPoint. Ah, okay, no. There it is. Okay. Our theme for these couple weeks, Healthier Me. It's a step-by-step approach to improving my health in 8 weeks. Folks, if you were to take these series seriously, if you were to pay attention to what we are sharing here, giving you detail, giving you reasons as to why we're asking you to make these changes and improve, for improvement in your health. If you put it into practice, by God's grace, you will be blessed because it makes a difference. When individuals come to us and they sit in for consultations, things like these we will share with them. When we review their assessment form, we make recommendations to correct habits that do not fall in line with these health principles. There are health laws that governs the human body. And if we were to live by these health laws, we will be able to achieve better health. We will be able to achieve better health. Sister Ramin, you are on the line. I don't know if you are available to speak, but you were telling me something about your experience just last week. The individuals were talking and excited about the health laws that governs the body. Would you like to share? If you do, then just put your hand up or you can simply unmute. Okay.
Okay, yes, I'm here, Dr. Nash. Yes, I was sharing with you how I went to a funeral recently and of a loved one, and the wife of the person, not the wife, the niece of the person, was questioning me about my health. She couldn't believe that I was the age I said that I was, and so she told her husband. And so when I met the husband the day of the funeral, he came over to me and he said, "I heard a lot of stuff about you." I said, "Really? I hope it's good." And he said, "Yes." He said, "And I can see it." He said, "You look wonderful." And he was questioning me about what I do and my health and all that. And I was sharing with him what I do on a daily basis. And he went when he returned to New York, he was telling people about how good I look for my age and how healthy I look. And he was telling them how I follow the 8 laws of health. And they asked him what the 8 laws of health was, and he didn't know what it was. So they just laughed at him. But he was sharing like things that I did on a daily basis, and they are all excited and they want to know more.
Amen. Wonderful. Thank you. So just by Sister Ramin's life that God has blessed her with, that she's 81 and looks nothing close to her age, individuals are consistently amazed and ask her that top question, what do you do? Notice not what do you take, but what do you do to keep looking this young, forever young? And that's what it takes for you to actually be doing something. And then you find that the results would show up. So I hope that you are moving along in your health journey, that we are no longer at number one, not thinking about healthy practices, but that we are vigorously reaching our goals. Maybe you are at number 4. If today is your first time, do we have any first-time joiners with us here on the chat? If you do, please raise your hand, send a message in the chat. If you're a first-timer, we want to welcome you. All right. Thank you. Maria.
Yes, I'm a first timer.
And Joyce, okay, welcome, welcome. We're happy to have you here. And you have not missed too many. I'm glad you're here, and you can always catch up on our YouTube channel for that which you have. All right, Sister Crystal Sobers, you are first time too. Wonderful. Thank you for attending, and we hope that you will continue to be here. Child of the Redeemer, wow, thank you for coming. And please don't be first time alone. Just send a link out even now to someone, and we're glad that you're here. So there's so much that's going on this space. So our topic for today, it's maintaining a healthy weight and behavioral change techniques, because it's important for us to have the right behaviors, have the right mindset when it comes to health. Otherwise, it could be on today and off tomorrow, and we don't want that. When you're thinking about, I choose to be healthy, it's a lifestyle choice, it's a lifestyle change, it's a new way of living and thinking. And you, in your heart, will tell yourself, I don't like being sick. I don't like to feel unwell. If I were to get a headache, I want to know what to do. The other night, in the middle of the night, I had a headache right here. And I got up and I put some castor oil and I drank some water and I rubbed it a little bit and I prayed, and it went away by morning. I don't know, maybe a poor posture or something. But the thing is, you know, there's many things that you could do, and this program will be teaching you a whole lot over time. So we're looking at weight, and why is it important for us to have a healthy weight? We find that in many societies today, obesity is on the rise. America is within the reach of so many, and we look at them within the last 30 to 50 years, where we have seen an increase in the weight, even an increase in the portion sizes, with the Big Mac, the big soft drinks, and it has spread out to other countries as well. We're also seeing where fast food has made its way in, and people are no longer having home-cooked meals. And they're purchasing food on the outside, and they're prepared more for taste and less for health. And those things can impact us. And from health, you know, putting us at health risk for so many diseases, including obesity. Obesity is a disease as recognized by the World Health Organization. So excessive weight, which is obesity, and that is where you have 20% more than the recommended body mass index for your height and your weight. You're looking at if you have a BMI of 30 and more, you are considered to be obese. And that just predisposes us to a host of serious conditions. That includes diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol level, heart disease, cancers, and the list goes on. And, you know, I was at a church on Sabbath, and before going up to speak, I literally just tilt my head a bit and to look at the audience. Just spend a couple minutes just looking at the faces of the audience and just wondering what they, you know, what are they anticipating in terms of learning? What are they going to leave with after the conversation, after the presentation? What changes are they going to make? What are some of the health challenges that they had amongst them? And I did ask a question, you know, just shoot off. Tell me some of the health challenges that you know someone close to you, could be yourself, that you're facing at this very moment. And so we got a number of conditions being shared with us, and I was able to speak towards those things through the presentations. But most importantly, asking individuals to make a change. Even if it is one change, make a change today. And that one change that you make in the right direction is fantastic. As a matter of fact, that's progression rather than doing nothing. That's improvement. And we are happy for that and do take it as important. Therefore, as we make the changes, we're talking about weight and reducing that weight, our risk for these conditions can be reduced. So being overweight can also hinder your participation in physical and social activities that can add even a little bit more fun to your life. So we want to be able to move around as we would want to, but it does take work. It takes commitment and on a daily basis to be doing something and doing what it takes in order to get there and to meet your goal. All right, so let me see if I could undo. Nice. All right, so question. Okay. Question. What? Okay, so Sister Peggy James, she's just sharing with us that in terms of the journey, you're at number 5. That's fantastic. Okay, very good. Let's keep it there and going. Okay, so what is a healthy weight? A weight in which you look and feel your best. All right, so you look and you feel your best, and a weight at which you have the lowest risk for disease and at which you can live the longest. Because some of these conditions, health issues, can shorten our lifespan. When you are at risk for them, when you actually have these conditions, they can shorten the life in a real way. And sometimes we don't think about that. And if we were, then we would make better choices. So we did introduce the body mass index at the beginning of our series. And here we want to look at having a body mass index of between 18.5 and 25. And that's here within the purple band, the green band, and just the peak portion of the yellow band. Having a BMI of between 18.5 to 25 as individuals who are long livers because their body mass index. So when you find that individuals live up into their hundreds, most times they are not overweight. They are more lean in their structure. And very many times they're physically active. You know, their diet, it's not big meals. They have moderate portion sizes. They don't eat all the time. They don't be snacking. They have their set times for eating. These people get rest at night. You know, there's something common amongst them. And so all you got to do is look for your height and then see what weight you are on the scale. And that will tell you your BMI, if it's 28, if it's 29. When it is 30 and above, you are in the obese section. All right. Now, let's get a measuring tape and measure our waist circumference. The waist circumference measures abdominal fat, which is the most dangerous of all. So it's the most dangerous of all kinds of fats, so to have that belly fat. And if you have this belly fat, because it's more dangerous even than your BMI, you should pay more attention to that belly fat. Now we're going to show you how you can check and know what that measure is, how you can measure your waistline. The correct place to measure your waist, you find the lowest part of your rib, put your hand there under your rib cage, and the top of your hip bone, and that's roughly in line with your belly button. Okay, find your belly button. Then you breathe in and you breathe out normally, and then you take the measure, see where the tape actually meets. And it would be just met snugly, but not tight. And you're not holding your breath in. All right, you're just relaxed. And that's where your waistline is going to be. Now, your waist circumference of 35 inches or higher for women indicates obesity and high risk for diseases. So women, let us measure the waistline. 35 and more. That's not good. And for our men, 40 inches or higher indicates obesity and a high risk for diseases. Okay, so that's what we should aim for. Get the waistline down. Maybe you're eating at night. That's one way in which your waist circumference and then belly fat can go up when you're eating at night and you go to sleep relatively close to that eating time. Then you're going to have problems. So as we regulate the times for eating, spacing out our meals, not snacking in between, not having all these sugary foods, you wouldn't get bloated, you wouldn't put the fat tend to accumulate in that waistline. And you got yourself into problems. Now there's a normal weight, overweight, and obese, looking at the BMI, the waist circumference, and the percentage of fat. There are tools that you could measure your fat within the body. All right. And so a normal weight for a BMI man and woman will be between 18.5 to 24.9. And from the time you start going up over 25, between 25 and 29, you are overweight. And obesity starts at 30 and above for the BMI. Okay. Then the waist circumference for men and for women, a little bit different. Men have more muscle, you know, the six-pack, we need to make accommodation for that. And so they're a little bit more stocky. And so the men, look at the measure from normal weight, less than 37 in that waistline. Overweight, between 37 and 39. Obese, 40 and above. A woman, well, the normal waistline will be less than 32. And then overweight, 32 to 34. Obesity, 35 and above. And the percentage of fat in the body for men between 10 and 20.9, normal. Overweight, between 21 to 24.9, and obese, 25% and above for your fat content, your fat composition. And your woman, between 20 to 30.9 for normal. You know, you might have a little hip and so forth. And to give that nice shape. But our overweight can be when that extends to 31 to 36.9, and then 37 and above, it's considered obese. Now, steps to a healthy weight. You look at the scale, and some folks say that scale is not right. And I would say, and then if the numbers drop lower, I say, yeah, the scale is friendly. This is a friendly scale. It's kind to you. It's showing you that you've lowered some of your weight. But you can test and check your weight. You know, if you checked your weight in the morning and then you come back and you checked it in the afternoon, you're going to get a difference because you filled yourself with water and with food and all kinds of stuff. And it will go up, you know, by 1 or 2 pounds. If you have anything heavy in your hand, you put on your shoes to go on the scale, it's going to increase a little bit. So ideally, we want to test our weight in the morning, what we call a dry weight, where you have not yet consumed water and you're more on you. Remember, we're made up supposedly like about 2/3 of our body content is with water. So if on a normal scale of scale of things, you want to be able to have that morning weight. So here are the tips, right? If you want to lose weight, pay attention to what we're talking about here and sharing. We want to adopt a healthy lifestyle. So just think about my lifestyle is a healthy one, or I'm choosing a healthy lifestyle. I'm choosing to make a difference. I'm choosing to not embrace sickness and disease, but to embrace health, wellness, healing, restoration. That's what I want for me. I want to be able to breathe well. I want to be able to think clearly, have my mind going well, that I don't have memory issues. I want to be able not to have aches and pains in my body. And so I am embracing a healthy lifestyle. That means I will watch my portion sizes. I will have good coping skills. So I'll show you portion and how to identify what your portion sizes are. Now, you want to also have good coping skills. When you are stressed, you want to be able to not live in chronic stress, not to have to be worrying or fretful or live in anxiety or be depressed about life and its situations. You don't want to be in a place where you're overworking you're on a daily basis. That is quite stressful. And whatever you can do to reduce that and to have a normal life, we encourage individuals to do that. At our center, we do stress coping strategies and mechanisms, and we have discussions along those lines where individuals really got to pause and stop and think about what are their stressors and what they can do so that they're not stressed anymore, you know, by what comes at them, because their response to the stress makes a difference. We are also looking at maintaining a positive, hopeful, trusting outlook on life. Everything, we don't have to be pessimistic about life. Be happy and joyful and laugh. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine. That brings so much healing to the body. And then we also looking at having strong social support systems with emotionally nurturing relationships. So maybe you're in a relationship that is not nurturing joy and peace and harmony and love and acceptance. And that's pretty daunting. And that could be stressful and frustrating you on a daily basis. Whatever you can do to fix that or change that, then life is too short in order to continue to be having these loggerheads every day. So it's helpful when we have individuals around us or our circumstances, our environment around us is one that lends itself to promoting a strong emotional support. We want to also look at rapid weight loss is not what you're looking for. In fact, rapid weight loss could be detrimental to our health and our life. I had a friend some time ago, and I understood that he had engaged in some connection that caused him to have a rapid weight loss. When you lose weight quickly, and it's the fat that you're losing quickly, that can take a toll on your liver and your gallbladder, because your gallbladder will still need to deal with this fat reduction, with this fat that's coming through and being broken down by your body systems. And that happened strangely enough, and the individual ran into some liver difficulties, liver failure, and it led to death. And I was like, wow, that was something that was preventable. We should not go after methods that will cause us to lose weight too quickly. There's a way in which you need to do it. There's simple walking as opposed to ingesting things or injecting within us. And talking about weight, right now, there is something called Ozempic and other types of medication that individuals are using to lose weight. That is not the key. That is not the answer to losing weight, because it brings about other health challenges, and they will lose, but it's not sustainable. And there are a lot of talk and looking at these injections right now, and watching on the ill health that it's bringing on the very same people. So losing the weight naturally is important. If there are times when you could actually, the other day, I had someone here with me at the center, and in the morning, he checked his weight, and he was at 216. Yeah. And he said, wow, that's good. I thought I was more than that. So we went out and we took a brisk walk, and it was a nice walk. You sweat a lot and everything. And then when we came back, we went to the sauna and sweat out again. And I usually like to do, give folks a little bit of stuff to ingest to help you sweat more and that sort of thing. When we finished the sauna, you go shower up, and then we were to have breakfast. Do you know that? Well, no, we did the walk, we came back, we did the pool exercise, then we did the sauna, and then we came back. So showered up, ready for breakfast now. So then the person got onto the scale. Now in the morning, it was 216. When a person got onto the scale, after all those varied physical activities, he was 208. 208. So he was like, what? This cannot be. So I laughed. I said, well, you sweat out so much water, and that's what, it's a decrease, yes. Well, let's give God thanks, and we're taking it, but the thing is that those rapid times, and that's why I tell you, within a day, you can check your weight early morning, and then you check again later in the evening, and you can see some variations depending on your activity. But what we really want to aim at is the fat content, fat content, the muscle, and to lose that. Seek to lose a half pound to 2 pounds per week, and aim for 10 to 15 pounds. So you have your goal, and a short goal that is achievable. Okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 15 pounds over the next month or 2 months, right? And you're working your way. And when you meet that goal, it might come in sooner than you anticipated, because you're putting in the effort, you're putting in the work for what it would take, and you would lose it. So you're burning, you got to burn the fat. And when I would say, when you're walking, I think we have physical activity next. All right, so when you're walking, you want to be walking briskly. And then, yeah, so physical activity. You want to walk at least 30 minutes a day for health. But if you want to lose weight, you've got to do an hour. And sometimes I encourage individuals to do an hour twice. Do an hour in the morning and do an hour in the afternoon. If you look back at our previous episodes, you would have seen Miss Donna, and that's what she was doing in order to lose her weight. And, she continues to do. An hour in the morning, an hour in the evening. You have to put in the work, and you will find the weight reducing. Now, if early morning you did your walking prior to eating your breakfast, you will burn more fat. Okay, so if you want to lose weight, make sure that you're going early morning before you eat your breakfast, and you will burn fat content. When after you've eaten food and later in the day, you have calories from your food to burn off. And so you burn that first and less fat, but you want to be able to burn fat. And then that's a nice way of reducing, but do it in a natural way. Don't go drinking stuff and injecting things in you. Do it in a natural way. Walking is fantastic. Let's look, moderate activities. You can burn 3 to 6 times more calories than sitting when you brisk walk. When you engage in activities such as gardening, you need to lose weight. Like new moms tend to have their babies and they have baby fat and they end up not losing that baby fat. So once you're strong and able, carry your baby with you. You know, put a baby in a stroller and you go walking around in a park really briskly, and that's still going to do something for you. Don't hold on to that baby fat, because if you hold it on, it's going to stay with you for a long time. And then you want to do some activity. You could be playing ball with your children, you know, just movement, and that would get you going. Vigorous activity tend to burn 5 to 10 times more than sitting. So individuals can be riding a bicycle, could be a stationary one or one that takes you places. You can swim. Swimming tends to help. Jumping rope and climbing stairs will be more vigorous activities, so you burn more calories. So here's another great point. So first, steps to a healthy weight. We talked about adopting a healthy lifestyle. We talked about being physically active. And then the last point is eating well. We need to eat well. You see all these foods here? Love them. Just learn to like how they taste and so forth. These things can help you to lose weight. Once you have fruit and the fiber in this, clearing your bowels. As you lose, you excrete, and it's going to keep you healthy. You need fiber, that's what we're going to look for in our food. So we want to choose low-calorie foods. All those fruits and that I just showed you and the vegetables, they are low in calories. So high calorie in a total plant diet, you automatically have less calories that intake. That's why total plant eaters are most times slimmer than others. But from the time you start eating animal foods and their byproducts and oils and excessive intake of fats, even if it's a healthy fat, they have more calories in them, all right, than your fruits and your vegetables. So we want to lose the weight here. We are looking to eat less calories. Go for the fresh fruits. Eat up. Go for your vegetables. Eat up the veggies. Have salads and have vegetable soups and so forth. And those are ways in which you can be able to have less calorie intake. You see all these refined foods, these snack foods and so forth? No, we don't want them. These things are loaded with sugar. So last time we talked about healthy carbohydrates and we saw some of these pastries and fats. What did we learn? They're loaded with trans fats and they put you at risk for heart disease, for diabetes, for high blood pressure, for high cholesterol levels. Yeah, the fat within them. You know, you make pastries and you add butter and you add cooking and lard and all those kinds of things. Yep, you add oils to them, sugar. So we want to stay away from these foods. Soft drinks, sodas. A lot of folks are having these regularly and they come and I see what they're doing and I also see the disease conditions. And I would say to them, you need to stop. Stop having your soft drinks, mama. It's contributing, it's feeding your problem. You'd see the eyebrows raise. Really? Well, if you didn't know before, now you know. Let's go on the right path. So we want to, all these cookies and biscuits and that sort of thing, make your own. If you made your own, you would know what you put in it. You will be selective with your ingredients. You can have these items. You can have cookies. You can make your own chips. You can make your own crackers. It takes time, but health requires effort because remember, a lot of these processed foods, packaged food items are meant for profit making. They all get towards the taste and not for the health. So we want to be able to be selective and you prepare for what you would ingest for your health. Taste, yes, but mainly for the health. If it is that you're feeling real hungry, maybe you did not eat your meals on time, you were out and for some activity and you had to eat something, go for a fruit. Go for some fruit instead. Or you can have some granola, some dried fruits. Go for those things instead, and you will do well. The other day, I had some dried strawberries. The thing tastes so good, you just want to eat and eat and eat and eat, so you have to limit. But you can have nice, healthy options, okay, as opposed to these things. What about the saturated fats? We want to reduce that. Reduce saturated fats in your diet, the meat, the dairy items, and you may have coconut. It's a saturated fat. Reduce that amount. And the best thing is to go on a total plant diet and eliminate some of these items here. So you use plant milk, plant-based milk instead. Today at the center, we did some quinoa milk. And yep, you can do quinoa milk. You can take any grain, any legume, any seed, any nut, and make a milk from it. Now, we want to watch the portion sizes. You'd see that going back for seconds and thirds. Oh, the food tastes so good. But watch, you don't have to go, thinking your goal is to lose the weight. So you don't want to go for the second helping. And then you can also choose a smaller plate size and choose a smaller spoon. I like eating with teaspoons. They're nice and small. And then if you had to drink anything, go for smaller glasses. So they're literal cups. You can take your measuring cup in your kitchen, 1 cup and a half cup. And I'll show you what to do with that. So for fruit, look at carbs. 1 medium fruit, the size of a tennis ball, that is a serving size. A half of a large fruit, half of a banana is a serving. A half of a big grapefruit is a serving. A half cup of chopped up fruit. You can chop up your fruit and put it in a bowl, half cup of that. Scoop up half cup with your measuring cup. That's a serving size. 2 teaspoons of dried fruit. Well, that might just hold 1 fig or 2 prunes, but that's a serving. So your dried fruit, like your raisins, your cranberries, 2 tablespoons. And then 1 cup, when it comes to berries and melons and so forth, a cup of those can be a serving size. So I would tell folks, have your serving size, not less. Sometimes I see folks dishing out their food and a little touch in this. I say, no. Take some more because that is not a serving. All right. And they would say, but I don't have appetite. I said, just take it. Your appetite would come. You would eat out all the food on your plate, but you have to build up your appetite. I don't want individuals to be eating less than the serving size because you can run into nutrient deficiencies. You have a big body to take care of. So you can, we're looking at serving. You can stay within your serving portions, but not to do less. Again, that can be a problem. Unless you have a special allergic reaction, or unless you need to limit the quantities, like if you had kidney issues and so forth, and be selective with your types of foods, or not have certain foods at all. But generally, this gives us an idea about how to lay out the items on our plate. Starchy vegetables, where you have cooked corn, your potatoes, sweet potatoes, winter squash, half cup is a serving. So what we do here is now we literally put these measuring spoons in those trays so that when individuals take up, they see, okay, this is half cup, they take up that and they put it on their plate. They know not less. All right, you can have another if it is that you need to put on weight, you can add on more, but try to work with those. Then whole grain, so half cup for cooked cereal, 1/3 cup for brown rice, and a half cup for granola is a serving size. And then 1 slice of whole grain bread is 1 serving, and 1 whole grain tortilla, 6-inch, is a serving. For your beans, you want to have half cup of cooked beans or legumes. Again, you can have more. You can have you can have a serving and a half, a serving and more, but a half cup is a serving. And if the more body you have, the greater your demand. If you are quite physically active, the greater your demand for food. Food is energy. Therefore, don't have less. You can have portion size and a little bit more if you need to. But you want to aim to have these grains and aim for legumes in every meal, in your breakfast and your lunch. When it comes to carbohydrates and non-starchy vegetables, those are free. You can eat these up in abundance, your fruits, your vegetables. You don't have to measure them because you're looking at calorie counting. They are so small, and you can eat up. You can eat like 2 or 3 tomatoes and you would feel full. That's the thing with them. It can help you to feel full, but you have actually ingested less calories. Okay. Protein, we want to make sure we have protein. It's important. Protein helps you to feel satisfied and can hold you out for longer. I know if I'm not getting my protein in adequate amounts, I'm going to feel starved. My cells will feel starved. So we want to be able to have protein in our meal, and we encourage protein in the breakfast and protein in the lunch meal. So look for the protein on your plate. It's not a slice of bread and some squash or pumpkin to go with that, or a piece of roti and some chopped up tomatoes and onions stew up together. Where is the protein? Okay, bring the peas in. Protein helps us to prevent muscle losses. When you're losing weight, you want to be able to lift these weights to keep the muscle tone, and so they don't go down flabby. And so protein helps to also to lower blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and even cancer. Plant-based protein. Animal-based protein could increase cardiovascular disease, increase high blood pressure, and increase cancer rates. Increase the size of the tumors. So when I say you're eating the animal protein, you're feeding your cancer, you're feeding your health problems, you're feeding your high blood pressure. It's because the body needs to be healed. And sometimes individuals are looking for quick results. Well, I stopped eating all of these, it's interesting. By the time folks are filling out the assessment form, they say, no meat, I don't eat any meat. That's okay. But I'm looking at your condition, and it speaks to high calorie content, to probably animal foods, their byproducts, and so forth, but you're not eating any today. But you were doing that 2 weeks ago. Your body needs to change and to be healed from what was happening. And then you would start to see better results. So we need the time. Include protein food in our meal. All right. Protein tends to plant protein tends to prevent reversing disease, also to improve kidney function, whereas animal protein can increase kidney dysfunction. You also have improved lipid profiles, and your blood work will show improvement when you make these changes to your diet. Okay, so some of those things we've mentioned. So you want to have half cup of your cooked beans, half cup of tofu, and 1/4 cup of nuts. All right, 1/4 cup of nuts. So all of your grains and your cereals, you want to eat whole grains, whole grain foods, and whole, and the nuts and the seeds and the fruits and dried fruits and everything whole, as opposed to refined. Eat rolled oats or steel cut oats, as opposed to having something with oat flour that's still broken down. All right, so try and eat these items in their whole form. You have more fiber that's going to go in and sweep your colon. It's going to go in, keep you full for longer, and you can be able to be satisfied, get the nutrients you need, and the fat would be reduced. And fat is important, tends to regulate body temperature, and even give us calories that we can burn. So we want to go for healthier fats, the olives, avocado, almonds, walnuts. These are healthy monounsaturated fats, omega-3 fatty acids. They're also great for our brain. Okay, I see someone have a question. Please put your hand up. We can take your question. Refined oils. We talked about oils the other day. We want oil is a refined item, and the refined items we don't want. Eat the olives instead of having and consuming all this olive oil. And oil tends to harden the arteries. They can increase inflammation, some more than others, some less. So you would think that they were saying, okay, well, olive oil is better. It can do some harm to the body as well, not as intense as having the vegetable oils. Okay. All right, so avocado, 2 tablespoons. We tend to eat a whole lot more than that. Not to say, so don't overdo. And especially if you're looking to lose weight, reduce on the amount of avocado. I had one person at a time, some time ago, tell me she needed to put back on weight in order to take certain treatments. And avocado, morning, noon, and night, was able to get her back her weight within a short space of time, within some days. And so watch the nuts, anywhere like about 4 to 10 nuts is a closed handful for your nuts. Okay, let's see here. Do nuts and grains provide adequate protein for breakfast? Yes. Nuts and grains, your legumes you're looking for. So I could see nuts and grains, like if you're doing a cereal, you have your grain for your cereal, granola maybe, and you put some nuts in there. Also have a nut milk, like almond milk. And I'd say that's okay for breakfast, but not for every morning breakfast. I would prefer to see you have some grain, your rice, and some peas. You have your fruits, plural, and then you can have your cereal with your nuts inside of there to close it off. If it's granola, and then with your nuts and your seeds to close off your breakfast meal. So in that way, you have a little bit more balance. Folks, we want to lose weight and not lose the plate, so we can do it in a nice, healthy way. Okay, so on its own, nuts and grains need to come together with legumes. Grains need to come together with vegetables in order for us to get complete protein. The nuts on its own, peanuts tend to be high in protein and has been used in many societies as a protein source. However, we don't want to be feeding on that continuously unless you're in a situation where there's nothing you can do. But if it is that you have items available to you, then go for something a little bit more balanced. Seeds. Seeds are more concentrated with the minerals. Now, note that all foods will have protein, all foods will have carbohydrates, all foods will have fat. Some of them have more concentration of some of those macronutrients. And that's why you would see it's been promoted as having being a healthy fat item or a healthy protein item, is because the protein is higher in certain foods or the carbohydrates is higher in certain foods. But all foods have carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Okay, 2 teaspoons of nut butter, 1 tablespoon of your seeds here. And as for a basic serving size. Okay, we want to plan our meals rather than eat whatever is on hand. You also want to eat warm, satisfying meals. You want to have balanced meals every day. And you want to, if you can eat your food with friends, with family members, it makes it happier. And then very important, do not skip meals, especially breakfast. It can certainly easily lead to snacking. So a lot of times folks are not having breakfast early enough. They are going out and doing your walking, you're going out and doing your chores, your errands, your activities, or going to the garden, and then coming back late and having your meal now like 11, 12 in the day. And all the morning you've worked on your reserves. And what you're bringing in now, calories, later in the day, it's now going to work for you until into the night. No, let us set ourselves up right. Get your calorie intake in the morning and burn that. Don't burn your reserves. Burn that which you consume and let the body be working and feeding off that. Eat your food, eat the breakfast. A lot of folks who put on weight are breakfast skippers. So make sure that you're eating your breakfast, a nice balanced meal, and that would certainly keep you full until the next meal time, so you avoid snacking in between meals. We talked about a nice healthy plate some weeks ago, and where you have your fruits and your vegetables, and you'll have your carbohydrates. You also have your protein, and you're looking for your fats at the end of your meal, at the end of breakfast, at the end of lunch. One last point is on dining out. A lot of times when you go out, you're like, what could I eat? But just be simple. Sometimes you can ask the folks what they have, because it may not be listed on the menu, and they may be able to put something nicely together for you. But as you go out to these restaurants, fast foods, be mindful that what they serve up can be high in calories. A lot of things are fried. You want to order some rice, but it's fried rice. You want to order some beans, but when it comes, it's loaded with oil. That can have higher amounts of calories. Okay, so if you, depending on how it is, these meals are prepared, the calorie content in it can be so high and give us some problems. Then the portion sizes can also be too large, and you're trying to be nice and eat all the food on your plate. Share some food with someone who's there with you. Okay, so question, if I ate my first meal at noon, is that considered skipping breakfast? Well, when are we breaking that fast? At noon, it's too late in the day. You know, your activities would have been rolling on from the moment you got up and you're moving. So what I mentioned is that you're running on your reserves. That's going to put a burden on your liver. That's going to put, you can even find your muscle cells, your fat cells, and so forth. And we need a certain amount of fat in our body in order for us to have, to support our skeletal structure. You need a certain amount of muscle, you need a certain amount of fat. That's why when we showed you the chart earlier about what is normal for individuals for the BMI and their percentage of fat. So we need a certain amount of fat and muscle for us to function well. So you're not bending over, your stature could be upright, you're able to sit on something cushiony. You know, so we want to make sure, try and eat earlier in the day. Now think about this. If you're leaving where you are and you're going on a far journey, maybe you're in the Caribbean and you're heading all the way to Miami, to New York, how are you going to get there? On an airplane. How many times are you sitting in an airplane waiting for some mechanical situation to resolve? Maybe they needed to fuel up, and that's what you're doing when you have your breakfast. You're fueling up for the day, for your activities for the day. And you fuel up, you're able to go the distance. If you did not fuel up, you cannot hold. A lot of times folks are running low on their endurance, on their stamina, ability to hold and to stand. And that's not going to be a problem in time. And it can bring about conditions. You can feel unwell. You can feel weak. You find that you can have heart palpitations and you're wondering what's going on. And it's because you're not eating. And so the body is affected in so many ways. So let us pause and eat our meals. You cannot, it's not sustainable. If it happens on a one-off or two, well, you know, it's just in between. But for it to be continuous, it's not sustainable for health. Remember, we're looking at promoting health. All right. And then if you do have to eat out, just select healthier options. Look for salads, grain, legumes, fruits. Those can be options. All right, so here your wellness goal for this week. Okay. All right, so somebody's asking, how often does one fast? I think if you're asking about, okay, so two things. If you're fasting, you can fast once for the week, you can fast once a month, you can fast once every 2 or 6 months. It depends on what your need is. There is something now called intermittent fasting. It's a nice phrase, intermittent fasting, and folks would start to eat and they have a period of time in which they're eating in between this window of time, and then that's it. What we'd like to see, your intermittent fast should be that you eat what you need to eat and you stop. And yes, 5 hours later, you can come back. You still have a window, but it's not continuous eating in between that window. It's like you're grazing all the time. We have one stomach. Human beings have one stomach. And therefore, we need to have that break. Give the stomach a break. Give your digestive organs a break. That includes your pancreas, your liver, your intestines, your colon, not just your stomach only, your brain. You need to give it a break. When I'm doing some intense work and I want to pull the juices out and creativity, I know, get up early in the morning when the mind is clear. No food yet. From the time I eat food, I break it. That concentration is gone. You know, so there may be times when you're fasting for different purposes, but in a normal everyday, you eat your breakfast, 5 hours later, you can eat your next meal, and that could be it. So here we do eat at 8 a.m. Between 8 and 9, we eat our breakfast. And then at 2 to 3, we eat our lunch. And that's it, nothing else until the next time. And amazingly, folks would come and they're accustomed eating regularly, more than that. And they are afraid from day one. They hear they are not going to get another meal until tomorrow morning. And they are like, wow, how will I make out? But amazingly, they're good. They have they don't feel hungry and they're doing fine. So, all right, should you aim for breakfast before exercising? If you want to lose weight then do your breakfast after you exercise. Yeah. So you do your exercise first, and then you come and you have breakfast. For us here at the center, we do our exercise between 6 and 7. 7 to 8, we have worship, and then 8 to 9, we do our breakfast. So, and all day long, you're drinking water. You know, when you wake up and all your activities, you will drink water. All right, so let's just review our goals for this fantastic week ahead. We want to follow a healthy, low-calorie eating plan each day. So you're paying attention to your foods and your calorie content. You don't have to burn your brain over it. Just eat plant foods, total plant foods, and your calorie content will be less. And that's just it. From the moment you add oils, you add animal products and foods, the byproducts and so forth, calorie content goes up like a flood. When you're on plant foods, everything comes down and you're okay. Now, eliminate the snacking. No snacking in between meals. That's why we set meal times and eat at those times and nothing in between, except you're drinking water. Drink your water in between your meals. And that way you hydrate, you give the body a chance to drink water and keep you nice and plump. Water would also help with elimination as you're burning fat and losing waste material. You need to flush. So through your kidneys, through your colon, water will help you to do that. All right, so you're drinking water as a choice of beverage, no juice, no soda, and no energy drinks or any of the sort. Then you also want to set a short-term goal. Don't say, I want to lose 50 pounds. Yeah, we're getting there, but 5 pounds at a time, a little 10 pounds, we could do that. When you see you achieve it, you'll be able and motivated to do more and to do more. You want to maintain physical activity at least 60 minutes a day, especially if you want to lose weight. Doing that 1 hour is going to help you. When it comes to disease conditions, I like for the folks to go do the 1 hour walking, and that's going to help them. You also want to choose smaller plate size, throw out the big plates and go for a smaller plate size. Get a smaller bowl, a smaller spoon and everything so that what you put on is going to be less in content. And then try to avoid going for the seconds. All right, for second helpings, we want to avoid that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so question, what about the diabetics? Do they follow the same method of eating? Most definitely they do. In fact, the study shows that, that diabetics do better on 2 meals a day as opposed to 3 or more meals. There is a thing when diabetics may be told to eat frequently. You know, you eat smaller portions and more regularly, like eat about 5 or 6 times in a day, please. Every time you eat something, you're going to increase your sugar level in your blood. Every time you eat something, some food, you're going to demand insulin production. You're going to find you have blood sugar levels. Glucose is going to increase in your blood. That's just the normal physiology of life. And therefore, if you eat a good portion size, fiber is important for the diabetic, like everybody else. You don't want to have the refined carbohydrates. You want to have fiber foods. You're not going to go for eating all the starch and provisions and that sort of thing. A lot of folks tell me they don't eat rice, especially in the Caribbean. They're going for the ground foods, for the dasheen, the yam, the potatoes, okay, you know, and all of these, the cassavas, and they want all of these starchy foods. That turns into sugar. That is going to hold your diabetes. You know, so we want to be able to get the fiber. Use the brown rice. Choose your rice, not white rice. Use the brown rice. Have more vegetables on that plate so you get more fiber in there. And then what you see with the fiber in your food, it's going to hold you out for longer. You're not going to be hungry, but also your glucose level is not going to give you the sugar spike. It was just going to go gradually increase. And that would be helpful. You don't want sugar rushes, sugar spikes. Now, when you have the fiber, you watch the content with the carbs, and don't drink juice as a diabetic. Same thing. Drink water, water dilutes. And you can space out your meal. The diabetic would not feel hungry. Remember that chart I showed with the plate? And then right there. And you have the fats at the end. Our diabetics eat like this. And they eat fruits. The trade-off is no meat in this plate. And therefore, you can eat your whole banana and you'll be fine because you're not adding a non-fiber item such as dairy or the meat products and so forth that's going to cause problems. So folks would eat. They would eat a whole banana, they would eat pawpaw, they would eat a pineapple, and so forth. Of course, everything in moderation, not overdoing. And they do phenomenally well. What about teas? Yeah, herb teas. There are certain herb teas that you can use for losing weight. Garcinia cambodia is one of them, and they can be helpful. One of the things I would also like to do is, when it comes to teas and weight loss, is to support that liver. Make sure you're taking something to support the liver. Milk thistle, dandelion. Dandelion will give you an increase in bile flow and help to excrete that excess fat in your blood. So you want to support the liver, supporting the blood, and therefore you would do well. Okay, so fruit, can you blend a fruit like barbadine and nut milk, add a little honey instead of eating it? Yeah, you can. If you wanted to have a nice drink, you can take your barbadine, you can take your soursop, you can even do your banana, you can have a little drink once in a while. But try not to do all these smoothies every day. Once you blend these fruits, you break the fiber bonds and you expose the sugar, you expose the glucose, the fructose you expose for quick absorption by your bloodstream. So you prefer to have the food, eat the food instead. Okay, next question. How do you eat ground foods? All right, we simply cut them up, peel the skin off, and then you cut it and you can boil or you can steam it. I like steaming because then I don't get my food into water. So if I'm doing sweet potatoes, I'll scrub the skin and I may peel it off, or I can even bake my sweet potatoes. And that's another way. So, and then when you put the ground foods, you can have it here as your carbohydrate item. So you have your peas and you have your cooked up veggies and you're good to go. Which type of protein of tofu should we buy? Read the label and see that it says non-GMO. So if the label says verified, non-GMO, not genetically modified, then that's a healthier option of tofu for you, because soybean mostly is genetically modified these days. Show the chart with the height and how much is supposed to weigh again. Okay, yeah. And then fruits and vegetables are very expensive. How do we go about keeping up with losing the weight? They're not. The amazing thing is that they're actually cheaper than the doctor bills, than a medication that you may be put on, the time that you would have to spend in health care. Health can be costly, and we have to choose today what bill we want to pay. Wow, that sounds like a rhyme. Choose today what bill you want to pay. When it comes to your health, we need to, now the thing is, when how do you lose the weight? If we keep weight and adding on weight, it puts us at risk for so many health issues that are real that can take the life. So when it comes to the fruits and vegetables, yeah, they have whatever their prices. Buy within the season, and then you'll get cheaper outcomes. When you go walking, you might see trees that with guava. The other day, one of my neighbors had a tree laden with guava. You could smell the aroma from the roadside. And so I said, neighbor, could we get some guava? She was like, yes, please come take. I got a bag on my next walk for the day, and I went and I filled my bag and so forth. And then she called me. She said, you didn't take. You lost so much. I said, well, I didn't want to shake a tree. And so she said, well, I'm going to pick for you and you just pass for it. We got bag full of guavas that you could have eaten. We did eat. And you could have blended it to make drink. And you know, so you would meet people. Every time folks come here by the center, they always coming back with some bag. And I say, oh, you all went and beg. You know, so they would come back, they'll find somebody and they'll get fruit. God is going to bless you. Folks, if you think to eat healthy is expensive, I encourage you to put it to the test. Put it to the test. God is going to bless you. He's going to give you food that's reasonable to meet your pocket because you want to be faithful to Him, to have a body that is healthy, to glorify Him. All right. And He's going to reward you for that in a big way. Where you think you were lacking, He's going to fill your need. He's going to send things to you. I had a friend recently who was sharing an experience with me, and he said, you know, he was out of the country for a while, went to his home, and it's like, boy, it's a nighttime, it's Sabbath tomorrow, I can't even go shopping, and I'm hungry and I need to have food, but I want a healthy food in my home. So he had asked, you know, a friend to go and remove all the unhealthy stuff, remove all the meat. So he's coming to a home where starting off right. And then he got a phone call. What are you doing? You know, we're going to have supper. Could you come over? It's like, wow. When he went over, total plant diet. And then they gave him so much of the cooked food and fresh produce and everything that he had for the next day. So God is going to reward and bless you, and He loves encouraging you. And in so many experiences that you will receive if you would only put it to the test, put it to the trial, go in faith. That's what you do. You go in faith, I'm going to do this, and God is going to do His part. He's going to bless. All right. So next question. Which foods are best for gaining weight? So just as when you eat healthy, you're going to put on weight. But you need to eat up, right? So a lot of times folks are not eating up, and they have a problem now with their weight, and they're not eating up, so they're not putting on weight. And what you also need to do is to build muscle. So you need to get those little dumbbells and work your muscles so that you can build muscle. And so as you eat, you can put some demand. So if you put demand, then the body is going to hold on to the calories in the food. Make sure you have proteins in your breakfast, protein in your lunch meal. Make sure you have your fats at the end of the meal. And you eat vegetables, a variety of your vegetables. You ensure you have proper gut health, where you are having you're having regular bowel movement, and you're not having anything like leaky gut, where you're not holding your nutrients within. That's another aspect. You can actually not be absorbing your nutrients if your gut is not healthy, and that can be a problem for folks with not holding on to the weight. Oh my, I'm so thirsty. I'm gonna be drinking all night long. All right. So thank you very much for your questions. Yeah, so which foods are best? The same thing, same plates can help you. Just have the right balance. How would you advise someone who works night, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., or you have all those variations, how to eat? I have sisters who work through the nighttime, and they will just work through the night. They'll eat at the start and at the end. They never ate in the night. So they'd eat at the start, like about 7, and then they'd work right through, and then they eat in the morning when they break. You just drink water. You can drink water, you can drink teas. Yeah, you can have those drinks, and you could, so it depends on your stamina and how rested your body is. Because sometimes if you don't have good rest, you can feel famished because your cells are weak, and they're not rested, they're not rejuvenated. And but if you had a proper meal in the evening, and then that can hold you. Drinking lots of water can hold you for your hours. Okay. How do you get B12? You find that soybean can have B12, and there's certain foods, amazingly, mangoes tend to have B12. Any food that grows close to the soil, and like watercress, and close to the soil where you have water and dirt, they can pick up B12. That's where the animals get their B12 from a food source. So when they're eating all the grass that's close to water streams, you get a lot of bacteria in that area, and they would eat, and they can get their B12 ingested from there. And then they make their own B12. So as human beings, we do as well make our own B12 once you have a nice healthy gut, and that's how you can have it. But from a food source, if you eat some of like lettuce and watercress and those sort of things, foods that grow close to the ground can have B12 in it. What about going home to end the shift, eat, and then go to bed? Yeah, that is a big thing, and you'll find that you will end up with acid reflux. I had a sister, and constantly she'll have acid reflux because that was it. She'll eat in the morning and then go to sleep within about 2 hours, and that wasn't sufficient. So she would have eaten then close before her break, before she actually broke off, she would eat, which would be a couple hours before. So by the time she got home, she wouldn't have to eat, just shower and hit the bed. And when she woke up, then she would eat again. So in that way, it was managed. If you have a B12 deficiency supplement, take a supplement and get yourself back in shape and in order. And that B12 deficiency can lead to anemia. So you don't want that. That can also trigger off problems, including heart health can be weakened. So certainly go for a supplement and get your numbers back up. Okay. Wow, this evening has been fantastic. I am happy that you were able to enjoy the presentations and get answers to your questions. And thank you for being here. And please come back again next week, Monday. And we have many more topics to learn. So I do have to bring about that piece that I promised. Thank you, Sister Ruth, all the way from Curacao. Wonderful. And about behavior changes and techniques, it definitely is part of our discussion. And I can do that next week. It's good to have that sort of midway in your conversation as we do some other topics in towards the closing, because that, having right behaviors can really be helpful. I did a presentation recently on procrastination with the group here, and the folks just, gravitated to it because it spoke to them. What are we waiting on to be healthy? Why are we putting it off? And so that's something that we can discuss too coming up. All right, so with this, let us have a word of prayer as we close off. Heavenly Father, we want to give you thanks for our discussion. We thank you for the participation, for individuals who have their burning questions and we're able to find some answers. We pray that you bless, inspire each heart to live healthfully, to be able to make whatever changes is required. Give folks the strength, brothers and sisters out there, give them the strength that they need to go forward in faith, believing in you, that you're going to enable them, that with you, all things are possible. With you, all things can be achieved and done. And the weight that needs to be lost, it would be accomplished. We ask that you help us to have a good night's rest until our next appointed time. This is our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.